Howdy, Possum Patty here in Little TT2. And today our gratitude journaling is for the birds. Come on along. First, let's go outside and I'll explain to you my bird feeding experiment. This is my bird feeder choice for 2022. But first, let's go back a couple of years to when I was experimenting with buying bird feeders that these squirrels could not eat. The first one that I got was very expensive. This one was $49, very expensive. And it has a contraption on here with springs. And supposedly when the squirrels jump on here, the spring mechanism brings this whole cage down and the leaves cover up the little holes so they can't chew and wreck your bird feeder. Well, no matter how I adjusted it, it didn't work. Somehow those squirrels got in there and chewed on the plastic. So now the seeds just fall right out of the feeder. Not good. And Mr. Possum has worked on it a few times. He puts these little metal pieces in there to try to keep them from chewing some more on there. But even though I love the look of this, it never did work right, and the squirrels just get in there and chew on the plastic. So $49, I could never get it to work right. It says adjust the springs. I kept adjusting the springs. It never went up and down with the weight of the squirrels no matter what I did. And they got in there and they ruined this one. Last year, I bought this one, much cheaper. And what I liked was, it was a little bit more distance between the cage and the plastic. So even though the squirrels can hang on here and reach in and grab some seeds, you know, I don't care if they eat some of the seeds, but I don't want them eating my expensive bird feeders. So this was up last year, and as you can see, there is no damage done to this one. I used this one a lot last year. And it is still in really good shape. So I'll be using this one again this year. Probably not that big one though, which is a shame. But today we're at the odd lot, which is like an Ollie's, or we're at the job lot, which is like Ollie's or an odd lot, I should say. And I saw this one. I was like, ooh, look at the distance between the seed holder and the cage. No squirrel's gonna get in there to eat any of the seeds unless the birds knock them out. I guess they can hang upside down maybe and get them off the bottom tray. It's a little bit smaller tube, which means I'm going to have to fill it more often, but that's okay. This one was $25.99. It's made by Yankee Trader bird feeders for mixed seed or sunflower seeds. And Mr. Possum said, do you want to spend that much on a bird feeder? And I'm like, well, you know, I spent $50 on the one that didn't work. So I figured it was worth it finding something that the little birds can go in, hop inside there, and eat their seeds without being bothered by the squirrels. So I'm going to try this one this year. I will also use this one because it worked really well. I got to clean it out a little bit. It's got some... Oops, it's got some grass in there, but I'll clean that out. The other one I'm not going to use at all. And I bought a small bag of seeds just to try it out. When the season gets a little colder, I buy the seeds in great big, you know, 20, 30 pound bags, because it's just a lot cheaper that way. And if you're going to do a lot of bird feeding, it might be worth it to buy the big bags and not the small ones. But this is only 4 pounds, but I just want to try out my feeder. Now, I know the little birds will be able to get in here, and I hope they're not afraid to go inside here. but maybe once they learn it's okay to go in there and eat, they'll use it. So I'll keep my eye on this and see if the birds do use it. And I'm not worried about the big birds because I do put out some suet cakes for the woodpeckers and the larger birds, so they can get their seeds and nuts and fruits out of the suet cakes. So I'm going to fill this one up and hang it up there on that pole and see if it attracts any birds. You just twist the top to take it off to put the seeds inside, and it's got a little nub there that locks it onto the cap. I have my pitcher of the feeder all filled up with seeds. I have my tag from the feeder, pretty cardinal on there. And I have a quote from Henry David Thoreau. I once had a sparrow alight upon my shoulder for a moment while I was hoeing in a village garden, and I felt that I was more distinguished by that circumstance than I should have been by any epaulet I could have worn. And I picked this one out of my meditation book, Meditations on the Earth, because while I was sitting out there filming the birds, I'll show you the birds in a moment, and I was worried they wouldn't want to go into this cage, but man, they just hopped right in there like they knew what it was and they were going for that food. The reason that I picked this quote was because after I filled the feeder and hung it up, I decided to go out and film to see if any birds would come into the feeder, because I was a little concerned that they would not want to go into this ball, this cage, because it looked like a cage. But man, they just hopped right in there. So I took my brown sheet, and you may have seen me underneath my brown sheet before. I'm just taking a piece of paper out of here from the Heirloom Harvest collection with feathers, of course. And I walked out. I put the sheet over my head, and I walked out to the stone next to the feeder, and I sat down with the sheet over my head. And I had taken the camera that I'm using right now to film with, and I poked the lens out of the sheet, but the camera was misreading a card, and so that's a whole other story. I had to come in, reformat the card, and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, so I was sitting out there next to the feeder with a camera that wasn't working, with a sheet over my head, just watching the birds for a moment. And a lot of the birds will fly to the bird feeder, take a seed, and then fly away to a perch to eat it. Or they may fly to the bird feeder, take a seed, and then fly away and actually stash that seed in in a bark in a tree or something for later. So as I was sitting there, the birds were flying to the bird feeder, and then one kept coming and landing on my head, and then going back to the bird feeder, getting a seed, and then coming back and sitting on my head, and then going back to the bird feeder, and then coming back and sitting on my head. So that was a totally fun experience. So I came back inside, and I put the camera down. I got my cell phone and went back out and took a couple of videos with my cell phone of the birds flying in and out. And I was thinking about making a list of the different birds that were flying in and out. Maybe I could do that on the back of here. And attach this with a string or a brad maybe. And then I want to put this picture. See, these pages are small, so it fills up very quickly with just a few items, which is good when you want to do like a little bit of daily gratitude journaling, right? So I'm going to show you the videos of some of the birds flying in and out of that cage while I cut this down. I cut the feather paper to fit this page. I decided to go with this page that had a fold over. And at first I was going to cover this with this gold polka dot paper because there are gold polka dots on the feather right there. But I haven't quite decided I'm going to do that yet. Because I decided that if I put blue on the inside to write on to do my journaling, that this blue is almost the same blue that's on that, so do I really need to add another piece of paper just to make it match? I don't think so. I don't think there's anything wrong with this going like that. So I might leave that. And I never put, well, actually I do. I like, words can go sideways with me, but pictures have to be straight up. Not have to be, but I tend to like my pictures going in this direction, not this way. But words can go in all different directions as far as I'm concerned. So I think I will not use that gold paper, even though I really like how it looks and it really matches, but I don't know. I just feel like I really don't need to, to add one more piece of paper to that if I don't have to. Kind of cut this one a little close, didn't I? Oops. Oops. That's fine. It'll work fine. Okay. So I got out some Salty Ocean Distress ink. And I haven't used this in a really long time. I hope it's still good. Reach over to the other shelf. I have a kitty in my lap. That's where I have my little sponges in here. I'm looking for a blue one. There's a blue one. Alright, so the sponge looks like it's all deteriorating there. So what I'm going to do is just cut that part off. So I got a nice, it doesn't come out flat, but it does work for distressing. See if this will work. Oh, that works just fine. So this way you don't have to throw it out just because the end gets all crusty. If you haven't used it in a long time, just cut the end off. And keep using it. Close that up. That'll get glued onto there. And then I'm going to journal on this. Maybe I should distress this too. Or should I wait till I glue it down? Or should I distress it now, glue it down, then distress it again? That's usually what I wind up doing, right? Doesn't matter. So I should enjoy working on these little pages because in a couple of days the monster comes out with the giant pages. And that's going to be a totally different experience. I'm even going to distress this. These feathers are very pretty. So finally, I am using fall paper in this November journal. And it doesn't match at all, this tag, but that's okay. The tag is red and green, and my background is basically blues and neutral colors. I thought I would glue this down, but for interest purposes, put a brad in there. And I've got a pretty blue flower. Matches perfect. But I also have white birds. So what do you think? Blue flower or white bird? Let's use the birds. Why not? Okay, now I cut a piece of brown. As a frame for the picture. This has rounded corners. I might round this one too, she says as she picks up the corner rounder and does it. I know I should have done that over the garbage can, but the cat is in my lap. Now this has white on the edge, so do I want to distress this one? I got my brown right here. I don't always distress. Today I am distressing. Just clean up the edges a little bit. Make it a little darker. Alright, get that out of the way. Alright, so first thing to get glued down, I'm going to move the paper. Okay. Throw that on the floor, throw that on the floor. That was the book, that was the pad of paper. Cat just jumped down. Good thing, because I'm getting out the glue. And I think for this, I wonder if I want to add something up here. I wonder if I have a little bird or something I could put up here. Let me go look around. It might have a little change of plan here. While I was out looking for a bird, I was thinking about my journaling, how much would fit on this space. So I went ahead and wrote my story. I'm trying a new bird feeder. Hopefully the metal cage will keep the squirrels from chewing away the plastic parts. After I filled it with mixed seed, I waited to see if the birds would enter the cage to feed. No problem. I sat on the rock to record a few birds, and one kept landing on my head, flying to the feeder and back to my head again. I had a brown sheet over me as camouflage. So that's going to go there. And so I decided if I made this tag loose, I could list the birds on the back of here, so I can glue this to here. Punch this out, distress this, put a ribbon in here, make it a little bit longer, and then attach that down with the bird brad before I glue this paper to this other page. And then this has to go on here. So I've got to start somewhere. So I'm going to start with this. This will be the easiest. Pull off the back and stick it down, right? Although unless I stand up, I always get it crooked. Okay, so there is, it's a little high, but that's okay. We're going to leave it. Oh, and so this is going to get glued down here. Now, when you have a flap like that, do you put the words going in or do you put the words going out? I almost want to feel like I need to put the words going in for some reason. And one of the birds that came to the feeder was the tufted titmouse. So I cut him out of the wildlife book, but he's a little big. So I think maybe I can get the black-capped chickadee on there. I know the quote's about a sparrow, but I did not see any sparrows when I was out there. Although we usually have a sparrow in the wintertime. Which one do we have? We have the white-breasted sparrow, I want to say. There are several different kinds of chickadee, but I'm pretty sure ours is the black-capped. We are too far south for the tundra, and a little too far north for the Carolina. Although experts say the Carolinas are moving north and interbreeding with the black caps. The only way to tell, well, not one of the only ways, but one of the only ways, one of the easy ways, which doesn't sound very easy to me, of telling the Carolina from the black cap is by their song. Oop, got a little close there. I was trying to leave a little white edge. It says that oh, doesn't say on here, it says in the book. One of them, the song's a little faster. The chickadee, they say it a little faster than the other one. So I guess let's you sit out there and measure how fast these birds are going. Chickadee, chickadee, chickadee-dee-dee. All right, let's start gluing stuff down here. Let's start gluing stuff down. Get this page going. I gotta watch my camera. I've been letting it run out lately. This is very thin from the book. I'm just gonna put, I don't know why, but this glue stick is very dry. Mostly glue stick. I might put just a tiny bit of tacky glue in the corner. It's not sitting on its head. I gotta shake it down, shake it down, shake it down. Can't sing Shake It Off because that's copyrighted. So we got the bird's going to take up that much room. I said I was going to put this in. For some reason, I want it to go in. See, now if it was on this flap, I'd put it in facing this way. But it's on this flap, so I'm putting it in facing that way. And glue my little chickadee down. Now this is a book page 2. I'm sure this glue will hold this down. But But as I say that, I'm thinking it's going to pop up. It's going to pop up. I'm just put a little touch on the edge. And that is way too much. So I will get it all over my fingers, like so. And put it up here. Okay, this is just going to get glued down on here. A little bit of extra glue there. You noticed I wrote a whole story. Do I usually do that? No. But I remember a while back I was trying to get better about it, and then I kind of got away from me, and I should write more stories. I'm getting into practice, because when I do my Grandma Little Golden Book Journal, I want to write some stories. So I need to warm up a little bit, right? Get back in the story writing mode. I just want to thank Dish for sending me all these glue spreaders constantly. Constantly. If one gets gummed up, I could throw it away because I know another one's coming. So far, so good. Okay, now before I glue this down, I want to work on it. So let me get all my pieces and see what I can do. All right, so I was going to put these at an angle, but now this one is not going to get glued down. So I might go ahead and just put this straight on, like that. That's going to need more room than that, actually, to flip it over. So well, we can go back to this now. We can go back to, see, I was going to do it like that. But now this has got to be, What does this have to be? It's got to be on a looser dangle so I could flip it. So you can't have it too close to the top because that's not going to be enough to give you the flip room, so it is going to hang down lower. So probably something, I know it's over the picture, but that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Something like that. All right, so let's put this down first. Uh-oh, pages are ripping. I'm gonna need a new glue book. These are what I call my glue books. Books I glue in. I mean, not books I use to glue things on. Not glue in. Things, pages that I use to put glue on other things. Oop, don't get the glue on the picture. I'm going to put that there straight on. No, possum straight on. And I think before I work on this, I need to... Wow. All right, let's see. What do we got here? got an old glue card that's glued to a page. This may be cleanable, or I may just throw this one out. Yeah, we're just going to throw that out. There's more where that came from. All right, so now I have my bird list. And, okay. Do I want to glue this or that? Let's glue this. And this is a little bit shiny. So I may do a little different on this one. I may put tacky glue in the middle. Spread that out. This bird feeder comes from North Kingston, Rhode Island. Distributed by Yankee Trader, North Kingston, Rhode Island. It didn't say where it's made. Oh yeah, it says right there, under the glue. Made in China. Made in China. Distributed by Yankee Trader. And then maybe I'm going to put just a little bit of this glue around the edge. Be careful mixing glues together because, you know, you don't want to wind up with some kind of chemical reaction that's going to cause you breathing problems. Just put a little bit in the corner. See, I checked it to make sure it wasn't upside down. I'm going to put the little extra bit at the top because I wrote very close to the bottom. Didn't mean to do that, but I did, so I will trim it at the top. No problem. Bring that back in a minute. Now, should I use scissors or the corner rounder? I think I'll use scissors. And it's just a little too wide. And a little too tall. And we can get out our salty ocean and distress. Now I am going to punch that hole so it's on both sides, and I'm trying to punch over the hole that is already there. Just made it. And now I am going to take a piece of this ribbon. Nice blue shiny ribbon. This came off of that ribbon bunch that I got on sale at Michael's. You know, where you get all different kinds of ribbons and trim in one big bunch. Well, do I want to put it with the blue side out? Or do I want to put it with that side out? Let's see. I like it both ways. I'm going to go with this side. I know, the colors don't match. Pokey tool, pokey tool, pokey tool, pokey tool. Don't want it too close to the edge. So right in between, maybe there. There, let's try there. can't even see the hole. Well, now. I lost that hole right away. Where's the bird? I wonder if the bird will just go through here by itself. Oh, it does. Okay. 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 We're good. We're good. Now I see the hole in the paper. Oops. Maybe we need a little bigger hole in the paper. There we go. Let's see if this works. I like to press the back down because it's going to get glued down. Okay. Does it work? Well, you can flip it up. We can flip it over. All right, so when you get tired of looking at it this way, you can put it this way. All right, that is working. That is good. So I'm going to glue this onto here, and I will be right back. I'm going to put the pages back into the travel style journal. All you do is lift the elastic, or in this case, the shoestrings. So all of this again was done in 2020. I did journal about birds here somewhere. For the winter birds, I am grateful for the winter birds. And this was a painting I did of the juncos out in the snow quite a while ago. And I did do a page about voting here too. But I did another page about voting. I did a page, this was a new one for me, Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Day and Month in November. And then I did for the November roses. Did I do any flower? I did here. For the rain and the flowers, so early November flowers. And then I skipped these because I went to this page because it was just plain white. And I could use the little bit that was folded over. There's a little flap there. I could even put it like that. So it's got a two-part interactive pieces to it. My list of birds, my meditation, my chickadee, my journaling, my new bird feeder, and the tag, and I have a brad, and I have a pretty ribbon, and the glue's still a little wet. Oh, should I write on here for, I should write something here, for, I am grateful for, I don't know, it says thankful. I am giving thanks for, okay, so, for squirrel-proof bird feeders. So I just wrote for squirrel-proof bird feeders. I have nothing against the squirrels eating the seeds from the feeders. I am against them eating the feeders because they totally wrecked my most expensive feeder. So this one was half the price, and hopefully it'll work twice as well. So I just want to thank you for coming along today. And I want to wish everybody happy gratitude journaling, happy junk journaling, happy November. Bye-bye.